5:30. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Paula, could you take roll call, please?
Certainly. Mark Miller,
Present.
Chris Carlson,
Here.
and Paula Crook. We're all here.
I'd like to make a motion to open resolution 2025-0512 for third-party audit. Whereas the Minnehaha Township, Sedgwick County, Kansas has determined that the financial statement and financial reports of the year ended December 31st, 2024 to be prepared in conformity with the requirements of KSA 75-1120A are not relevant to the requirements of the cash basis and budget laws of the state and are of no significant value to the board or the membership of the general public of the Minnehaha Township, Sedgwick County, Kansas. And whereas there is no revenue bond ordinances or other ordinances or resolution of the municipality which require financial statements and financial reports to be prepared in conformity with KSA 75-1120A for the year ended. Now therefore be it resolved by the board of the Minnehaha Township, Sedgwick County, Kansas, in regular meeting duty assembled this 12th day of May 2025, that the board waives the requirements of KSA 75-1120A as they apply to the Minnehaha Township, Sedgwick County, Kansas of the year ending December 31st, 2024. Be it further resolved that the board shall cause the financial statements, the financial report of the Minnehaha Township, Sedgwick County, Kansas, to be prepared on the basis of cash receipts and disbursements are adjusted to show compliance with the cash basis and budget laws of this state, passed and adopted by the board of Minnehaha Township, Sedgwick County, Kansas on the 12th day of May 2025. I'd like to make a motion to close the resolution number 2025-0512.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Let you sign there.
Over to you. Chris.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to approve last month's minutes.
Make a motion.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Chris, can you go over the financials?
I will. Last month, beginning balance was $902,484.71. We received receipts of $93.51. We had disbursements last month of $271,169.11 for an ending balance of $631,409.11. Last month, APAC was kind enough to do every project we had scheduled with them in the month of March instead of spacing them out throughout the year. And we paid them roughly $162,000 of the disbursements for the month. So they are, all the projects we had scheduled for the first half of the year are complete. And we will, once we have the May 20th deposit, we will start scheduling the second half of the year projects. So any questions on the budget?
No.
No questions.
Motion to approve the budget.
Can I make that motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chris can go to the road assessor report.
Yeah, so Stagecoach has been fixed, both patches. Both repairs that needed to be made were fixed. Then St. Andrews was, we've repaved St. Andrews with a mill and overlay leading to the Pinnacle, from Central to the Pinnacle. So that road has been now repaired. And then Crest Ridge received its mill and overlay that was scheduled for last year and got put off until this year. So, and not put off by our doing, it was by the contractor who signed the contract, couldn't do it. So all those projects are complete, and we will be looking, once we have our second half funding, we will start looking into what we're going to do to finish the year out. And that's it.
Okay.
Old business or new business?
John? Got anything to share from you and Paul's perspective?
Mowing and getting things caught up.
Anything new pop up? Nope. Okay. Old business. Let's see. I know that we talked about Stacy Rogers showing up sometime here in the future. It was been told that it might be July 7th. Or is that confirmed?
That's confirmed today.
Confirmed today. Stacy Rogers
And who is she?
Stacy Rogers is up for elections, and she just wants to basically talk to the community because she's also part of the community. She's a member of the community, so therefore she's going to come here and just talk about what she is running for.
What's she running for?
So go ahead, Chris, why don't you share?
She's running for governor of Kansas.
Okay. Yeah. So, Stacy Rogers. Do you have any old business?
We have this. Do you want to talk about that now, or you want to wrap it up to the end?
No, let's talk about it now.
Okay. All right, old business. So there's been we've been talking about the piece of property in front of the fence, from the fence out front to Greenwich. Slauson Development approached us a couple months ago with interest of buying that piece of property. We told them we might consider it. They wanted permission to do Alta survey and drainage surveys.
I've never heard, I don't know what it is. It scared me.
So Slauson wanted permission from Minnehaha to do some investigation on the site. One, to find out what the boundaries of the property are. Two, to find out if our retention pond that's out here was designed to handle the capacity of a development out front. I don't have the final Alta survey. We did get a preliminary, and the preliminary did say that not only is there enough capacity out front to handle new development, but it was also designed correctly, which was good. They did a bunch of borings to make sure it was actually designed to be a retention pond. We have no documents of exactly how that was built, so this was kind of a good catch up for us. So with all the work that Slauson did with the survey, they figured out the parcel. They would like to talk to us about the possibility of purchasing that piece of land up front. The design is not in stone. The conversation was also for us to, we would maintain the covenants on who could be there in the future. So if Slauson takes over that site now, we can dictate what happens in the future on that site. Because I think the board as a whole, we would agree that we don't want a coffee shop or something with a lot of drive-through volume. We don't want that out there. That would do nothing but hinder these guys from trying to get in and out. I think also I wouldn't mind talking to Slauson about the possibility of widening this drive if there's a potential that more than just these guys are going to use it. But like I said, design is not figured out. It's just intent. And I think the purpose of this meeting here is to garner approval to move forward with conversations to sell that parcel of property. And my recollection is off, but in a conversation I had earlier today, the original intent when this property was purchased is the office was supposed to be up front and the shop was supposed to be back here. And that design never went forward. It never got built that way. And I think at this time, that piece of property isn't doing us any good, at least. Their proposal is that Minnehaha would retain 51 feet by 271 feet, which is 13,829.67 square feet of the front. And Slauson would acquire 126.66 feet by 271.17 feet for 34,346.39 square feet. Because this is a land deal, we will not disclose publicly what their offer is because I don't want other developers coming in and trying to undermine them. But they have a very reasonable offer. I'm looking at it. I believe it's over market value of what that piece of land would be. Ultimately, if the Minnehaha board can dictate what happens in the future, I think it's in the best interest of the township for us to only sell the land on the statute that we can control what does or does not go in the future. It would require the dumpster to be relocated probably back here, which means on trash days, guys would have to have the gates open. And they'd have to come back and get it.
Well, you can get a trash company a key.
Yeah, we could do that too. In looking at the Alta survey, the piece of parcel they want to get for partial retaining is the yellow piece of land, which is basically the driveway to the fence. The whole drive to the fence.
So it's gonna be a shared drive?
They want shared access, which is why I think I would be wanting to encourage them to widen it.
Is that fence, the black fence, is that the property line?
They're showing it here. The Alta survey shows, let me see where they're taking it. They're going to replat, so we'll probably, okay, so it looks like we're about 8.9 feet at that end, and 11 feet at this end. So our fence, we still would retain 11 feet on this side, 8.9 feet on that side. So there's a space in front of the fence, 8 to 11 feet that we would retain. That's where the property line division is.
You say that you don't want a bunch of businesses with high traffic. Can you give some examples of acceptable businesses by the board?
Storage, banks, maybe light retail, like 2,500 square foot retail tenant. No coffee, no fast food drive-throughs,
Car wash?
no car wash.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother conversation.
You accepting comments from the?
In this manner, should we go ahead and put some to accept comments on this? I think
That's fine.
there's a lot going on here.
Yep,
I'm fine with
there is.
it.
That's good.
Because this is government property, should you be sending out a request for quote, and making it an open bid rather than a single source?
Well, we're not. I don't know. That's a good question. We didn't go out looking for a buyer.
I understand. But if you're considering selling it, now that changes the scenario.
Yeah, maybe. Well, we can reach out to legal counsel, see what we need to do. If that has to happen.
Then you could write your own spec.
Well, they've already agreed that if we want to sell it, it's part of the agreement. They'll let us write the covenant. They'll let us have input in the covenant.
But I'm just saying, if you go out on an open quote,
Yeah.
that you could put that in there so that those other bidders will be aware of what their restrictions are, if you want to call it a restriction.
Fair enough.
Question, Bill.
That's what I did. I worked for government, so do contracts.
Any other questions, comments?
No.
Any other business?
So, if that's the case, then I make a motion to have further conversations with Slauson Development about the possible purchase of this piece of property.
Make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
New business, I really don't have much. I've been reached out to a couple residents in Minnehaha Township wanting some things fixed. I mentioned them to the road overseer, and he was looking into getting these jobs repaired. I sent you a text. I don't know if it was on my work email. Do you want me to reach out to that text that you just sent me, or the email, or should I when I get
Oh, I
to
already,
work
I
tomorrow?
already replied.
You did reply to her
Uh-huh.
already.
Talked to John already. They're Apex cones. I just told John to go ahead and just pick them up. So I just told him go pick them up. If they want them back, they can come here and pick them up.
Okay.
That way we just clean up the yard.
Okay. You have any new business?
I do a little piece. So, as we discussed previously, District 5 with the county has created a collaboration board Jim Howe heads up this collaboration board and has invited several people from that represent all the entities in his district, in District 5, to be part of this, to talk about consolidation and trying to do better by have the government do better, and potentially do it for cheaper, so we don't have to keep raising taxes on people, because it's getting to a point that it's not sustainable. So I'm on that board. Bill DeLong is also on that board representing Sunset Highlands. Becky Tuttle from City Council is part of that board as well. And there's several other entities and all the improvement districts and townships, as well as the county and the city, are represented in this District 5 collaboration. Right now, the big conversation going around the city and the county is, how do we consolidate services? And consolidation sounds like a great plan. Everybody talks about, oh, that means we're saving money. Doesn't always mean that way. Great example that was put up today was you move the county offices into the city hall, or into the same building as with the city, right? Everybody thinks that's great. That saves us a lot. But in the long run, that could cost $25 to $30 million just to make that move, to set it up that way. So is it really a cost savings? Which has to be investigated. Someone has to actually crunch the numbers. But that happens a lot in consolidation with government. The reason consolidation is talked about but never done is usually because they can't get the cost-benefit ratio for whatever reason. There are some things, I believe, that can be consolidated. Most of you have probably heard the Sedgwick County and the city got together to talk about how they could combine the parks service and how they can make that better. I don't know how that meeting turned out. I think it's just in its infancy at the moment, but there's a lot of conversation about how do we consolidate government. There are some cities that have made good examples of consolidating. Nashville has done a really good job. Wyandotte County did it several years back, although they're backtracking on a few things, because I think the hesitation of consolidation is all of a sudden, if we consolidate, who runs it? Because everybody doesn't want to lose control of their little piece. There was a statement made today by Jim Howe that consolidating townships into the county could make sense, just for the simple fact that we do the same thing the county does. There's a lot of hiccups, a lot of things that have to be worked out before that can be taken care of. The purpose of our meeting today. Why is consolidation politically popular today? What are the reasons to consolidate? How is consolidation different than co-location, shared services functionality? We provided some examples today where potential consolidation or restructuring makes sense. There's plenty of examples out there. I think there's more opportunities. There's a lot of people in government that want to retain their little piece. Personally, for me, I think that having a township go out and mow property and clean snow off of streets is kind of redundant when the county does it, because the county will come to our border and they'll stop and then they'll turn around and go back when they could have just drove through. Or mowed through, whatever that happens to be. So I think there's also this gray area, especially in Sedgwick County, about what is the city, what is the county, and what is the township. We fight that all the time here in Minnehaha. We constantly get phone calls. Hey, you need to go do this. Well, that's not our road. Well, yeah, we were told it's your road. Well, I got a map that says otherwise. So then they ignore me and they go find somebody else. Nobody wants to claim it because it's funds they don't want to spend. But I think going down the road, the future of collaboration is going to happen, because they can only tax people so high before it gets out of hand. And it's right now, the city and the county are going through budget meetings currently, trying to figure out what their budget is going to be for 2026. And as of today, Bill, correct me if I'm wrong, they are already, if they just hold everything at the same level it is today, they already have a budget deficit of several $1 million. Which means the only way they make that up is raise taxes. And 90% of what they get their money for is property tax and sales. Was it sales tax?
Yeah, 42% is property, and I think it was 27 or thereabouts with sales.
Yeah,
It's like 60-some% of it.
that's where they get all their money. So the math doesn't add up, and I could figure out ways, I think, to trim down government expense, but
Doge. Like a little mini Elon Musk.
But I mean, I say all that because the budget meetings are going through, and county and city will approve their budgets in August. We will approve our budget in August. We have always strived not to raise our taxes. We've fought very hard to keep revenue neutral every single year. But when the county and the city raise theirs, that goes on top of what we do. So if we don't raise a thing and they do, your taxes are going to go up. It's not our fault, but we're the ones you're going to come yell at. I don't have an easy solution for it because government inherently doesn't want to get smaller. So this meeting, this collaboration board meets every other month, and it's a 1-year term. So I will be on this. I'll be on this board. Bill will be on this board for 1 year, and every single time we have a meeting, every couple months, I'll report back on it. But I mean, there's definitely some opportunities, I think, to save money and consolidate services. Jim gave some great examples today, but I think there's a lot more that can be done. Now, whether the city and the county want to do it, that's a whole nother ballgame. But I think the victim in the long run for this will be townships. Nashville figured out how to get rid of townships. So it's a definite possibility here. But we have a very large budget. It's not easy here. There's like 28 townships, I think, in Sedgwick County. And many of them have a budget less than $50,000. Those could be easily taken over by the county because all they do is maintain a road. County's trying to pave all Sedgwick County roads. Sooner or later, they'll all go away.
Some of those are out in the middle of nowhere, obviously, but
Yeah. So, but that's what's going on in the background. Those are public meetings. If anybody would like to attend, if you reach out to Jim Howe, he can get you the meeting schedule. His assistant will get you the meeting schedule. You'd be more than welcome. You can attend. All the meetings are held in Derby at the Derby city offices. They donated a room for these meetings every 2 months. Next meeting is July 14th, 11:30 down in Derby. The Derby Welcome Center, 611 North Mulberry, Suite 200, Derby, Kansas. But if you have input, Jim is very good at entertaining input and listening to the people that are sitting around there and have questions and comments. So if you have ways to improve government, improve efficiency, he'd like to hear them. The homework he assigned us was to talk to our organizations about the efficiency ideas and determine whether our organization has an interest in exploring opportunities for consolidation and restructuring more deeply. He's looking for a volunteer effort by the townships, the improvement districts, the city of Mulvane, the city of Derby. How can we get better? How can we consolidate and save money? All across the board. So if anybody has any ideas, feel free to send them to me. Go to the Minnehaha website contact, send me that email, just because if you do a contact list, it sends it right to me. And I will loop these things in and I will bring them to the next board meeting on July 14th. Any questions? Okay, I'm done.
good. Like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion?
Favor?
Aye.
Questions, anybody? Questions, comments?
That cover all that, Bill? Good enough? Good.
You said
Not-
more than
not
he
as good as
said.
you would've.
said more than he said, so you're good.
Thank you.
He's a politician. I'm not.
Maybe,